It is time for another viewer match, and what I got for you today is a Gold League match of Zerg versus Protoss, spawning here in the bottom right hand corner of Ascension to Ire LE, and playing with the red Zerg drones we have just Monica. It's just Monica and his opponent spawning in the cross position and playing with the blue Protoss probes. He goes by the nickname of Drone TMX. Now indeed, this is going to be a Gold League match of Zerg versus Protoss, and it does mean that this is going to be a viewer submitted replay. And actually, hold that thought, because apparently Mr. Protoss here is already sending out 2 probes very early on into this match to the other side of the map. Now Mothership is the one that's going over every single viewer submitted replay, and he mentioned that while the start of this particular game is a little bit slow, the end may very well be the very best game that we have ever seen as far as viewer submitted replays go so far. So I'm actually really excited for this one because I don't really know exactly what to expect at this point in the game. Now, while apparently 2 probes were initially sent out, the first one is still making its way across the map and it's currently rallying around inside of that main base of the Zerg. The second one, however, already turned back around to just do a little bit of scouting and to confirm, I guess, that there's no proxy hatchery. I guess that Drone TMX may have very well gotten cheesed a couple of times before this particular game, and he really does not want to be caught with his pants down. He actually sends out 2 probes really early just for scouting purposes, because in the meantime on the other side of the map we did indeed see that gateway on the production tab already, and now also the follow-up with the cybernetic score. Now, if you do have an awesome match yourself as well, you can go ahead and submit it to replays@LowkoTV. Just a simple email address. Go ahead and attach the .sc2 replay file, and I may very well end up casting your game in the future, although we are currently receiving roughly anywhere between like 200 to like 400 replays a week. So, you know, if yours doesn't get casted, I apologize, but I just sadly, I'm not going to be able to cover 200 games a week. It's just simply not going to happen. That does mean, though, that generally speaking, right, we're gonna get some epic matches right here on the YouTube channel, and I'm actually really excited for it. I've had a couple of people mention, like, hey, Lowko, do you watch these games before you actually cast them? Absolutely not. I do not watch these games before I upload them to the channel for obvious reasons, right? I have Motlersis who's going over as many of the games as possible. Then we have Nuke also double-checking a lot of those replays just to make sure that we get only the best of the best, and then I end up casting probably about 2 or 3 or so a week, and I upload only about 1 or 2 or so. So, you know, of all of the games that are submitted, only the very best do make it to the YouTube channel, and I hope that this one is going to be as epic as Motlersis mentioned it is going to be. Just Monica, though, looks like he's gonna be going for that 3rd base rather early on. We do see a handful of zerglings already making their way across the map, and at this point in the game, actually, there's not really a whole lot here available just yet. There is a single zealot that's just simply staring away from these zergling. Eventually, he does decide to turn back around, and he's gonna go ahead and attack move on some of these, but these links here most definitely can become a little bit of an issue. Nice little micro there so far by Monica, trying to keep these zerglings alive, and actually, with zergling speed finishing up in just about 10 seconds, with proper micro, these zerglings can actually turn into a massive hassle. Do have to be careful though, you do not want to get them surrounded, but more and more zealots are currently queued up. Apparently Drone TMX does not want to go for any adepts and permanently shut these zerglings down, but they are going to be able to, now with zergling speed done as well, they're going to be able to get quite a couple of kills, and so far this is more or less just a little bit of a nuisance, right? The nice thing for the Zerg player at this point in the game is that this buys a lot of time for that 3rd hatchery to go up, and look at that, already 4 probes going down here in total, but now the reinforcing musketeers, the 3 musketeers, do decide to join the battlefield as well, and I think that they should be able to ward these zerglings away, at the very least for the time being. But if these zealots are not hold position in that little gap, the links are once again going to be able to get back into that main base and be really annoying. This is why SimCity is so very annoying, and Drone TMX is done with it. He's gonna go ahead and pull all of these probes off the line. And actually, I have to say, I'm really impressed with the micros so far, but just Monica. I have casted a lot of Gold League matches, but this seems to be much higher level micro already. I wonder though, yeah, he is currently saving up quite a lot of resources. You see this a lot at the pro level play of StarCraft 2, where pro gamers are putting in a lot of effort on these first couple of zerglings. But then of course, in the meantime, at home as well, you want to continue making all of those drones. You want to make sure that you keep on macroing as well. And well, eventually we do see Monica doing a pretty good job in dropping down these resources. He was flooding for quite a little while there as well. But there's no denying that at this point in the game, Monica is very, very far ahead when it comes to the worker count. I mean, already at the 3 base count, at the 5-minute mark, he's getting himself a very solid amount of income, already up to 50 plus workers at this point in the game, with more and more in production. I actually have to say, this is the way that I like seeing Zerg players approach the game. If you are playing Zerg yourself, right, it is all a game of drones. You gotta try and get as many drones as you possibly can without dying. That is top priority. If you manage to get your workers early on, you're gonna get such a massive income lead. And you can see already, right now at this point, it is 57 harvesters versus 29 only. That effectively almost doubles the income right now for the Zerg, and that can very, very quickly lead to a dominating mid-game position. Of course, though, these adepts are going to be able to do a little bit of harassment here as well. They might actually be able to just pick off maybe one of these tumors, although so far he's target firing down the queens. And now with the Zerglings coming in for the reinforcement as well, I think that Monica will be able to deflect this early game pressure really nicely. Solid play so far. Look at that. He's already at a lair, researching the pathogen glance upgrade, which is the energy upgrade here for the infestor. And Monica seems to be in a dominating lead in this game so far, already building up to close to 70 workers. And 70 for any of the races in StarCraft 2 is usually the sweet spot. If you manage to get to 70 workers, be it with Terran, be it with Protoss, or be it with Zerg, 70 to 80 or so is the sweet spot, because you can easily replace any kind of army that you lose. You're just simply getting so much income that as long as your spending is on point, you're going to be able to recuperate those losses very easily. And actually, there's actually a lot of infestors already on this production tab. I wonder what it is that Monica has got in store for us here. I mean, Infestor Ling Bane is a composition that can do a lot of damage, but of course, with the recent patch in StarCraft 2, we did see the removal of the Infestor to be able to cast Fungal Growth from Burrout, and, you know, the Infested Terran and whatnot are pretty easy to counter for a Protoss player as well. Now, apparently, Neural Parasite is already in production. Neural Parasite, of course, allows you to take control of an enemy unit. I wonder what that means and what exactly his plan is going to be, because at this point he hasn't really seen any kind of terrifying units just yet. Usually, for example, it's very helpful to steal your opponent's Immortals or maybe Colossus or anything along those lines, but already, and I like this one a lot from Drone TMX, he's going up to that Templar Archives, he's going up to the Psionic Storm, and that means that he's going to be looking to get High Templar. High Templar, of course, have Psionic Storm available after this research is done, but they also have feedback, which allows them to deal with energy-based units very, very easily, as they essentially deal damage based off of the amount of energy that an opponent has on their army units as well. This is going to be an interesting little micro battle, though. The Glaives upgrade for the Adepts just about to finish up a lot of gateways here as well. I would actually love it if at this point in the game, Drone TMX goes ahead and deals a little bit of damage. Right now, at this point in the game, he does have a very powerful timing push available to him with all of these gateway finishing up. There's no doubt in my mind, though, that just Monica is in a very superior lead so far. I mean, both of these guys had Gold League borders while this replay was loading up, and I can definitely see how Drone TMX may be a gold level player, but so far, I mean, just Monica is doing a very good job, just simply macroing up towards a 4th base, already even getting a 5th hatchery as well, building that macro hatchery setup here inside of the main 2, getting himself the double evolution chamber, and while the Zerg's build order is a little bit odd, and he is indeed going to end up losing a couple of these Infestor, he's got many available still to just simply continue that harassment for a little while longer. And apparently, he assumed that there may have been a, yeah, the observer's right over there, I was gonna say. He assumed that there was gonna be an observer nearby, so he's randomly spamming fungal growth all over the place to hopefully catch it. But this observer in surveillance mode is gonna be able to live for another little while. Drone TMX, though, has decided that he doesn't want to go for any kind of pressure. And actually, if you're a Protoss player, I would highly recommend, and this goes for any Protoss player up to like Master League or so, I would highly recommend you execute a 2-base timing push before you're going to be transitioning towards that 3rd base. For example, when you first finish up like 7 to 8 gateways, you can do such a nice push, in particular with like Forge upgrades, in particular with Twilight Council, upgrades with maybe, for example, a robotic facility and a War Prism. You can do such a nice push before you transition towards that 3rd base. I mean, the fact of the matter is that Protoss late game is very strong, but if you allow Zerg to just sort of do whatever they want, they can become very, very scary as well. And already, right, you can see this Zerg creep spread is getting a little bit out of hand. I mean, the creep spread is already about halfway through the map at this point. A lot of inactive tumors right now, but as soon as Monica realizes that there's once again that opportunity, he's gonna be able to deal a lot just by simply slowing down this Protoss opponent. Now, there's currently 56 larvae available and already 10,000 resources in the bank. There's already 10,000 resources in the bank. Actually, hold that thought. No way. Oh, no, Monica. Monica just stole a probe. That was... No. Oh, my God. He's stealing a probe. He's neural parasiting a probe. Oh, no. He set up a limbo line. He set up a limbo line of infestors. He stole one from the natural that was going to that 3rd, and now he's going... He's gonna go ahead and build himself a nexus. Okay. So, just Monica just neural parasited a probe, set up a limbo line, and connected it with other infestors as well. And now he is constructing a nexus on his side of the map. Monica, what exactly is your game plan? I mean, you've got over 10,000 resources. If you just started making units right now and spent that money, you could probably win this game right here, right now. Although Drone TMX does realize that something is not quite right. He's gonna be fighting a Nexus. These zealots must be a little bit confused. They must be like, well, you know, aren't we from Ire as well? Here we go. Whew, that is most definitely a successful assimilation right there. Oh my god, all of these High Templar are actually gonna be casting Storm on their own army units as well. These Archons are going to town as well, but at the same time, a lot of Protoss units are still available. They're gonna be able to slice and dice through all of these infestors very, very comfortably. And while apparently some of the Lings and Banes are trying to invest up this high ground as well, it is not quite going to happen, as there were plentiful defenses here for the Protoss player at this point in the game. Now, I think that just Monica, and I haven't actually seen this in like years. I think that just Monica wants to go ahead and try this again. I mean, look at it, right? He's got 10 more infestors coming in. He knows that he's at a superior economy here, because look at the amount of resources that he's currently bringing in. Protoss is just now saturating that third base as well. But there's no doubt in my mind that Protoss is not quite out of this game just yet, though. I mean, there's definitely a lot of potential here for this Protoss to just continue macroing up a bigger and bigger army. Look at that. He's now actually getting himself a lot of Dark Templar, 9 DTs already. But let's bring it back just for a second, right, to that Nexus. If you Neural Parasite a probe, and you build a Nexus, you can actually, as a Zerg player, continue making more and more probes and eventually tech up to as many Protoss units as you want as well. This is something that we have seen a little bit in StarCraft 2, but it is very, very difficult to pull off. I secretly do hope that just Monica is going to try and go in for a second wave for that as well. Now, Zerglings did manage to make their way into that main base here of the Protoss player. Protoss eventually, though, is going to mass recall, and he should be able to get rid of most of these Zerglings that are being a little bit of a nuisance. Now, we do also see that Swarm Host switch here from Monica. So, while Monica is going to have a near maxed out army, it doesn't look very menacing at all, because you know, these swarm hosts, of course, do cost 3 supply each, and when you have got 80 supply roughly tied up in drones as well, the Zerg army really isn't that impressive whatsoever. It's 18 swarm hosts, a bunch of Zerglings, or I guess a single Zerglings, and then also 17 of these infestors. At this point, though, I do like this decision. There's no Colossus available for this Protoss player just yet. That means that these infested Terran, or rather these Locusts, are going to be able to deal a lot of damage. Once again, we see that nice little limbo line here of Locusts just simply trying to make their way towards that natural expansion. Protoss did just figure out that something is not quite right, and while apparently the Swarm host did indeed get a reduction in movement speed in the recent patch of creep, they're going to be able to live to fight another day, and now the Locusts are going to town. They're actually trying to still get this Dark Shrine, but just barely. Is it going to be enough? And, or it's not going to be enough, and Protoss will keep that Dark Shrine alive for a little while longer, but once again, the infestors are just simply taking so much damage. Zerg is losing these very, very rapidly, and while there's still a ton of gas available here for our Zerg player, and he's easily going to be able to replenish those, there's not really a whole lot of army units here for the Zerg player in red just yet. And of course, Dark Templar, right? Technically speaking, mostly considered to be an harassment-based unit, they have one of the highest damage per second outputs in the entire game. I mean, they don't have a lot of HP, they die very easily as well, but their damage output is absolutely ridiculous. Now, infestors apparently did come for the swoop around here. They're gonna be able to lend those continuous fungal growths, and I think that that is going to be all she wrote for these Dark Templar, although more and more managed to split off from that main group. Zerg does have detection, however, available right now. The Locusts are gonna spawn, and I think that eventually these Dark Templar will get shut down, but not without them dealing a significant amount of damage. And actually, ooh, I must have missed this here. Just Monica is currently constructing... Wait, I was looking at that production tab here in the top left-hand corner. Just Monica is currently constructing a other Nexus. Okay. That looks really weird on that production tab. Now, Drone TMX must have realized that one of his probes gotten Neural Parasited once again, but apparently there is gonna be a bit of a push, and currently Monica, he's making probes. Or at the very least, he's gonna be... Now, there we go. He's just made a probe. He just made a probe. This is now permanently for the swarm. Just Monica is going to be able to do with this probe whatever he wishes. I kind of wish he gets it out of there just in case this does get scouted. There are a lot of Archons nearby that are going to be a little bit of a nuisance. At the same time, though, an army of Changelings is trying to merge themselves in with these other units as well. But while that's happening, apparently the Locusts are inside of the main base, dealing so much damage already. But look at that, Just Monica is currently macroing with a bunch of probes. I'm actually curious because I don't know how this works. And actually, Protoss may very well find this. That is a nice pickup for Drone TMX. But would Monica be able to mine this with drones? Right? Can he go ahead and get these resources with drones? Now, apparently, that Archon is going to be able to pick up that probe once again. There's still Monica continuously building up more and more Protoss-related units. There is certainly a lot of Protoss, though, still available at this point in the game. And while a couple of these Archons are going to be Neural Parasited as well, these Zealots are going to be able to intercept a bunch of these Swarm hosts. The Archons eventually do run out of their Neural Parasites, so they're going to be able to once again get back into the favor of the Protoss here. Archon, of course, they still deal a lot of splash damage as well, and they're going to be able to make short work of these Locusts. And with that, of course, Drone TMX is going to be able to continue dealing damage. But sadly here, for the Protoss player, there is no longer any kind of detection whatsoever, and that means that these Archon are just simply gonna stand there in the middle of the map. Now look at this. Apparently a probe from the Zerg player managed to make his way towards the central northern end of this map. And he is currently constructing a nexus as well as a gateway here on this side of the map. Completely unscouted so far by the Protoss player in blue. And I think I do need to start classifying which of the two Protoss players we are talking about. Because Monica is actually trying to construct an army that is based around swarm hosts, infestors, as well as gateway units. And apparently, by the way, can they return their minerals here? Can these drones return their minerals to this nexus? I don't know if that's a thing. Can you do that? I mean, he's currently constructing probes as well. There's still a couple of nexi across the map. Can these drones return their minerals towards this point in the game? Please be able to do that. I've never seen that happen. No, you can do that! No way! That is awesome! So you can actually, a Neural Parasite a probe, make a nexus, produce your own probes, which are going to be permanently in favor of you. And then you can follow this up with mining off of a nexus with drones. That's kind of ridiculous. I would actually love at this point in the game, and I don't think the Zerg drones can construct any buildings, but I would love for this probe to add on a cybernetics core and go Void Race, right? Go Void Race. Go for an army based around swarm hosts, infestors, and Void Race. What exactly are you going to do? Now, for those of you wondering, by the way, these pylons will indeed provide additional supply to the greater good. So it's actually a pretty interesting setup. 2 hero probes apparently are feeling ballsy, and they're gonna try their very best to fight these swarm hosts, but not for very long. This is gonna be so messy though. Look at that. A cybernetics core is going down. 2 of these extractors are now built off creep, of course, because they don't actually bleed to death. And while some of these swarmers are gonna continuously harass here, I think that this is completely unscouted so far by the Protoss player. The Protoss does not realize that he may very well be going. This looks so weird. Look at that. It's a 1 versus 1 where drones and probes are mining happily alongside each other. This is like an episode of the Teletubbies at this point. Now, oh, he's doing it! Monica is actually building stargates! No way! He's gonna... No way. Oh man, he's gonna give this Protoss a taste of his own medicine. 6 stargate are coming in. 6 stargates! If you're gonna build Void Race, right? What exactly is gonna counter an army based around infestors and Void Race? Right? Or even better, maybe carriers. Even Tempest would do incredibly well. I mean, Protoss did indeed secure himself another base. He's got a lot of minerals in the bank, but it's not even remotely close to the amount of resources available right now for this... oh my god, this is so dirty. This is not even remotely close to the amount of resources available right now to, I guess, what was previously the Zerg player and now the hybrid player. Is this what the Xel'Naga had intended all this time? I don't know if that is going to be the case, but still, Drone is once again going to try and move out across the map here with a little bit of a hit squad. I would love to see him tech up to bigger units as well. Great fungal growth will indeed slow down a lot of these zealots and prevent them from charging for just a little while longer. These swarmos, though, are getting absolutely massacred. Drone TMX is now also forced to build a couple of cannons close to this area, as indeed Monica is currently constructing gateways here on this side of the map too. We do see Void Rays in the production tab here for, oh my god, that's ridiculous. Zerg is gonna be able to make Void Rays. Zerg, and get this, Zerg is making Void Rays. Also, apparently there's, I've never seen this before. What's going on here? What is going on here? I know there's fights all out on the map, but what is this? Is this a new thing to this map, or is that... I don't even know what those creatures are, but anyways, Zealots are trying to now kill that base here in the central part of the map for the Zerg player, or I guess the hybrid player right now. A fleet beacon is just about to finish up, and just Monica is gonna be able to get this, queue up a ton of carriers. A taste of their own medicine is the only way that I can look at this. I mean, there's carriers as well as adrenal glands on the same side of the production tab right now. We do now also see the interceptor upgrade here, which is absolutely crucial when playing this setup. And apparently, the Zerg is now chrono boosting out these Stargates units. Now, Drone, you really need to step it up a notch, my man. You did a great job producing unit-producing structures off of a single base and then also on your second nexus, but ever since these initial gateways went down, I haven't seen any kind of tech up just yet here for the Protoss player. I would love for him to go ahead and create his own nexus as well, or rather his own Stargates as well, just so he can get some better units out. It's gonna be very difficult to fight a carrier-based army with something that is primarily based around ground units. Now, there are a lot of Archons once again morphing here together for the Protoss player in blue, but little does he know that just a little way up north, carriers are currently being produced, and here we go. 6 of them are just about to finish. that's ridiculous. Monica is gonna try and max out on an army that is based around the carrier, even though he started off this game as a Zerg player. Now, the amount of losses here, though, for the Protoss player, or for the Zerg, have been absolutely ridiculous. Look at that. Drones and probes alike are going down here, apparently, at this point in the game. But 40 Swarm Hosts, 32 Infestors, 9 Dark Templar, and 14 Archons, as well as 9 High Templar. A lot of high-tech units have indeed gone down. Zerg, and I am saying this correctly, Zerg, or I guess the hybrid, is now producing a Mothership. Zerg is making a Mothership. Now, at the same time, though, apparently the Void Rays as well as these carriers were forced off the line, as they are going to be trying to deal the damage here to the blue Protoss player. A set of zealots are indeed left over, as all of the units that were capable of shooting up were killed with that attack priority. And apparently, while they do leave prisoners, one of these zealots is going to be able to stay alive for just a little while. This one will also not live to tell the tale. Or maybe he will. Wow, the hero zealot that was. A lot of Protoss units, though, are currently being warped in. We do indeed see these continued Dark Templar now also getting rid of a lot of these drones. More and more Nexi are currently being built. I think that these Dark Templar will soon figure out that there are indeed drones bringing back minerals, returning minerals towards a Nexus. I wonder what these Shakura's warriors are thinking of this shenanigans right now. This is a little bit odd, isn't it? Now, we also do see the defensive carriers coming in, but Dark Templar, they do kill things very, very rapidly. At the same time, though, on the other side of the map, we do see the Mothership core in production. Or rather, not even a Mothership core. That's a unit of the past, Loko, but the Mothership in production. It's gonna finish up very shortly, and of course, you can indeed mass recall, and I would love to see that. You can mass recall all of these carriers towards that position. I know there's no particular reason right now why the Zerg player would do that, but it would still be a really cool thing to see. Now, a lot of drones are currently still being produced. Tempests are now also coming out together with the carriers. The Mothership is just about to finish. There, indeed, it will be cloaking these gateways as well as this Nexus near the Protoss players' base. But still, a lot of Dark Templar as well as Stalkers are now dealing the damage inside of the main base of the Zerg. A lot of this crucial production here for the Zerg player is completely shredded. And I think that while just Monica still has a very scary amount of Stargate units left over, he doesn't really have a whole lot of Zerg tech anymore. Interestingly enough, this Zerg player is slowly transitioning towards a Protoss, which is a little bit odd to say the least. And here we do indeed see that infested that infestor nest falling as well. It's not called an infested nest, Loko, but it's alright. He will not be able to make any more infestors nor swarm hosts at this point in the game unless he decides to once again get a lair. But still, a lot of these carriers are currently available. The Mothership is desperately floating about, trying to feel what it can go ahead and do. But I think that this is definitely a point in this game where just Monica can potentially start dealing the damage and bring the damage to the other side of the map. I don't know how many times this Protoss player has faced off against something along these lines. There is a Mothership now dealing damage to the mineral line. That is the most ridiculous thing I've seen in a while. We see a little bit of Mothership harassment, and now with all of these carriers as well as Void Rays and Tempest joining the Mothership, quite literally a floating city, I think the Zerg player, or I guess now known as the hybrid player, is going to be able to bring the damage to the Protoss player in blue. There is a lot of Protoss here remaining still, but I don't think that it is going to be enough. A group of Stalkers is desperately trying to make their way across the map. As Drone TMX recognizes that this is not an army that he can kill, he's desperately trying to run away. Obviously, right now, these carriers, right, they're getting the vision that this creep spread provides as well, so it's going to be very easy to keep track of where all of these Stalkers are going to be located. But look at that, they're not even gonna be able to get a single unit as Drone TMX leaves the game and just Monica obtains the victory after producing a lot of carriers, neural parasiting a probe, and of course producing a mothership as well. Absolutely ridiculous game. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below, and if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. Other than that, I want to thank you very much so for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile or write a special shout out to the Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome, but I will see you all in the next one.